Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. My name is Al-Kasim Adegboyega, and I'm being joined by one of our Malam Sadiq Adewumi. And we're having this call to discuss our Quran recitation classes that will commence on the 20th of this month, inshallah. That's going to be next Saturday. So the classes will run 3 times a week, inshallah. So we have it run on Saturdays, Sundays, and on Tuesdays. The time, so we'll just make sure to communicate that to the intending students, inshallah. So the classes is going to be completely free, right? So for anyone who is interested, I will go right ahead now and put the link to register in the chat box. So let me do that right away. All right, so I've just dropped the link in the chat box so you can look it up from there. And like I mentioned, it's going to be completely free for this coming semester. And the semester is going to run for 3 months. And all we ask of you is to ensure that, one, you attend your classes regularly so that you don't miss classes, and that you do the assignments that you're going to be given by your malams or your malama if you have some of our female teachers teaching you. So you have to make sure that you attend your classes, you don't miss your classes, you do your assignments. And at the end of the second month, I would send out a review form. For the review form, we will need you to just leave us a good review. That is, if you feel, right, that you've gained anything valuable from the classes that you've been attending, then you can leave us awesome review, inshallah, and you give us referrals. So that's about it. Because many people are usually wary, especially here in Nigeria, when you hear that something is free, people wonder, oh, is it really going to be free? Or are we going to be, made to pay some registration fee or, or something like that? But for you, this pool of students is going to be completely free. But for others that you're going to be referring to us, they are going to have to pay. We have some students already on the platform, paying. Most of them are one-on-one students. But for the group classes too, it's going to attract a fee. But for this, we've promised that this is going to be free. So this is going to be totally free. So that's all that we're going to need from you. During your first live session, by the way, everyone will be tested, right? And the way we're going to make the test happen is to ask that you recite the Quran. Obviously, if you know nothing about the Quran, if it's your first time, you're going to be in level 1. So you're probably going to just be starting out with Uruf, learning the Arabic alphabet, and you take it from there. But there are some of us who have attended madrasa in the past and would just like to pick things up from where they left off, right? So for those people, we'll need to check which of the level will suit them best, right? So the way we intend to do that is by using the first live session, the first class, to test people out so that we can properly, appropriately place them in the different levels. There are 3 levels, by the way. Level 1 for the total beginners. There's going to be level 2. So once you know your Arabic alphabet, you can articulate, you can put together some of those words, but you don't yet know how to fluently recite the Quran. Then those group of people would be in level 2. But if your recitation is somewhat good, but you're looking to improve, then we're going to have level 3. And if the numbers are good enough, maybe, we can also have a memorization class. The memorization classes are usually one-on-one, and if we have groups too. So those, but let's see what the numbers is going to look like. Perhaps we can also have that as well. I want to ask, is there any question from anyone? Any question that anyone would like to ask? All right, so I have BW, so that's the initials, right? BW, you can kindly unmute and speak.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you
Wa
so much
alaikum
for
salam wa
offering us
rahmatullah.
this opportunity. I wanted to ask
Yeah.
what times of the day these classes will take place and how often they'll take place.
Okay, okay. Madam Sadiq, can you help me with the time of the classes?
The time of the class is 10 to 11.
Okay, Nam. So that's going to be 10. Well, we're using watts, right? So that's the watts time zone. GMT plus 1 it is. So 10 in the morning, GMT plus 1, till
On
11. Nam?
I think on Sunday.
Yes, Saturdays and Sundays. How about the Tuesday class? Is that the same time as well?
Not the same time. That one is by 8 to
Okay,
9.
okay. That's by 8 till 9. But we'll be sure to send that to you. We'll try to do a little recap of this session and send it to you after the close of the session, later today or perhaps tomorrow. And for the frequency, we're going to have it run 3 times a week: Saturdays, Sundays, and on Tuesdays. So 3 times a week, inshallah. Do we have any other question? All right. So if there are no other questions, so let's go straight into it. So I'll check with you first, Madam Sadiq. Similar
Now,
to anything in life, right? That we want to learn. I feel that it's always important to always have a learning intention, right? So having a learning intention is going to make it a little more seamless, so to speak. But I want to check with you, right? So, are there any tips from you on how our intending students now can effectively manage their time, to make the most of these classes?
all right. Jazakumullah khairan for that question.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa jami'a man wala. First, I would like to mention the fact that, just like you mentioned, intention is very important. So Allah, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said in one of his hadith that إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. So verily, all actions are judged by intention. So whatever you want to do, you have to first have a intention with it. So that is going to make it seamless, like you said. It's going to make it easy. So as regard the time, if we're going to be looking at the time that we have stipulated for the class, the slated time for the class, so we would conclude, we can all conclude that the time is very small. And then if we are to solely rely on the time to improve ourselves on our recitation or ability to recite the Quran, I can say that I can confidently say that we're not going to get the results, the results that we want, the results that we are in expectancy of. We're not going to get it. So that is why it is best for a student who comes to or who attends classes like this to always have a personal time to go over whatever lessons that have been taken in classes. So you won't just rely on your classes alone. So you would have a personal time that you're going to use to revise everything you've been taught in class. So the time, as I said, is not going to be enough. So you have to create a time yourself. So if you have a determination, that if you have a target that this is what I want to achieve, so you would have that determination following your movement throughout your journey. So when you see that this I am doing is not, I don't think it is sufficient enough, then you would have to like create time, no matter how little, no matter how tight your schedule. I understand that there are a lot of persons that are busy. That is why they're even enrolling for this online class at the first instance. But then if you want to achieve something, you create that time out of no time. So it just requires sacrifice. Everything that you have to do in this world, in this life, sorry, and you want to be successful in it, you have to sacrifice to achieve it. So that's just basically what I can say. I hope that suffices as an answer.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So I'll come to Malam Idris now. Assalamu alaikum, Malam Idris.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And all right, Malam Idris, we're living in a digital world, in an era of digital learning, with numerous online resources available to us. I mean, we all know about the Sheikh Google, right? And we have a super Sheikh now, Sheikh ChatGPT,
Yeah.
it is called. So, Malam Idris, what online resources or platform do you want to recommend for supplementary learning, for our intending students? Malam Sadiq just mentioned now that just spending 1 hour or 3 hours in total every week isn't going to be enough to get the results that we're looking for. So if I can ask you, Malam Idris, what other complementary resources would you want to share with us?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala man talaqa al-Qur'ana min ladun hakimin alim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Wa ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone, and you are all welcome to this great session and webinar. Based on the question, what other resources? I'll first of all speak of Islam as a service, that it is a one-stop destination for all the resources you can get, because there are a handful of qualified teachers that are there. And it is very key when you are trying to learn something, getting the right material contributes a lot to having a sound knowledge. So on Islam as a service, where it is a platform where you have a seamless experience, not just seamless, but a fun way of learning the Quran and whatever revolves around the ethics of the deen. Then the other resources I will want to point out is, okay, for those of us at home, there is a Huda TV. There's a program they anchor where Sheikh will come out, you will recite, and the Sheikh will correct you and letting you know that these are the mistakes and the science of recitation of the Quran that you are supposed to apply. And it is the Sheikh on the platform, it is a very renowned Sheikh in the world of Quran. Is Dr. Ayman Rushd Suwaid. So he is an erudite scholar in the line of Quran and Qira'at. So he does that free of charge on Huda TV. And we can also leverage upon, but basically, you going on your own to scavenge for those resources might end up getting the wrong resources. It is best you ask questions, those who know about those resources, so that they can point you to the right direction, rather than Mr. Google can never be your teacher when it comes to religion. It will just dip you into the pit. So because there are a bunch of falsified resources, it will just scroll and bring it up to you. You will think that because it's written in Arabic, this is the right resource. You will learn everything, and meeting someone who have the knowledge, they will not tell you that you have to unlearn and format everything again and restart. So it's best that you ask scholars, then they put you to the right direction. So like I mentioned, there is that one on that platform. There's also this Kitabul Durus Lughat al-Arabiya. It is being anchored by one of Muhammad Khan. It's very good resources. I've seen it also. There you learn the basics of Arabic. So these are the few things that I can say regarding the resources you could use. But you should be extremely careful when it comes to self-tutoring. That we need a guided instruction.
Okay.
Mm.
Jazakallah khair, Malam Idris. So back to you, Malam Sadiq. Like many of us, right? So I want to also assume that many of our intending students will also have multiple commitments as well. So, Malam Sadiq, how can they balance learning to recite the Quran with their other responsibilities? you want to shed some light on this, you want to give some of your take on how they can balance these two, so to speak.
Thank you very much for the question. First of all, I would like to say that this question is a little bit philosophical because the way you schedule your activities determines what time or how you're going to be able to sacrifice a particular time for what you want to do. We know that it is understandable that everybody have responsibilities that is imposed on them, but regardless, you still want to pursue on the other side, achieving how to recite the Quran properly because it is very necessary as a Muslim. It is compulsory on every Muslim to know how to recite the Quran practically, even if you might not know the theories behind it. So we know that you want to achieve this, and you also want to carry out other responsibilities. So striking a balance between them, between carrying out other responsibilities and learning how to recite the Quran is something that I believe is subjective. But then here are my advice because here is what I have done for myself, and I think it has worked so far for me. Is that we Muslims we have what do they call it? We have salawat. Like our lives is just so structured in a way that since we know that Islam is a total way of life, and Islam has allocated time for most of our ibadat. So we know that this time is of good essence, like it's of essence. So it is very important to take note of time. So when you divide your responsibilities, things that you want to do, you allocate time for them. That this thing I am going to do it at this particular time, and you make sure that um, you work towards achieving it in that particular time. You make sure that nothing is going to stop you from achieving it. So myself, there's myself. What I used to do is that I used to ensure that if I want to learn something, I used to ensure that is either I take it after subuh or I take it after qiyamul layl. So that time is very good for learning. That time is very good for learning, and most times I believe that everybody do not have things that they do at a particular time. Like I think it's just or is it just from my hand? If there's any contrary opinion, I feel like people do not have what they do at that particular time. You pray subuh, you've allocated that time to pray subuh, and then or they do qiyamul layl, except if you have some other things to do. But then you don't use all the night to do that particular thing. So people are usually free during that particular time. So whatever you are doing, so you can just put them what your own personal lessons that you're going to take yourself, you can put them in those particular time. So even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the fact that Quran al-Fajr, um, أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasized on the fact that Quran that is being recited in time of Fajr is very, very effective. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the fact that learning Quran is easy. So it only requires that you take the step to learn it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. We have indeed made Quran easy for remembrance. Is there anybody who wants to strive to remember? So you just need to take that step for, like, you just need to make sure that this thing, I want to achieve it. Try to be serious, be intentional about it. That this, I want to achieve it, and what they call it, allocate a particular time for it. That this is when I'm going to be studying my Quran, and nothing is going to change it. Your personal study. So I believe once you have that time, you would be disciplined about it, and then everything will be fine, inshallah. So that's just what I can say from my hand.
No, no, Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Malam Sadiq. I like what you also mentioned that if people know that this is something that is mandatory, right? So people need to learn how to recite the Quran. I mean, if we don't know how to recite the Quran, then how do we observe our salawat? So we must pray as Muslims. I mean, it's what distinguishes us, what differentiates us from the people of the other religion. So learning how to recite it, not just even recite it now, but reciting it properly with good tajweed. So it's something that is compulsory. So if you don't recite properly and you have the capacity to learn and you're not doing it, then we're sinning. So it is a sin. So sin of Qira'ah. Now, so myself, I ask myself, by the way, I'm an IT professional myself. So I ask myself sometimes that, we're going to die. We're all going to all die at some point. So if I die today, am I going to be configuring things? Am I going to be working? Is the computers that I've learned, is it going to be of any good, to me in my grave? So if it's not, so we also need to find that we need to ensure that we're creating some time to serve our Creator, to learn about the Deen of Islam, to learn about the one whom we're going to return to. Thank you very much for that response once again, Malam Sadiq. So let's wrap things up now with Malam Idris. It's not easy, right, to stay consistent, right? Especially when it comes to recitation of the Quran. It's not very easy to be consistent. Sometimes we say, oh, we're going to do it. We might have that initial adrenaline rush, so to speak. Oh, I want to learn the Quran. And the first week, perhaps the first 2 weeks, I'm doing, what I'm supposed to do. And down the line, we start to slack up. I'm ready. I can't wake up anymore, for in the morning to do all of this practice, to put some work in. So let me ask you, Malam Idris, what advice do you have that can help the students stay consistent? I mean, you're a memorizer of the Quran yourself. So what have you, from your knowledge and from you teaching others, what have you seen that works for you yourself and for your students that you want to share with the rest of us on the call today?
All right. Thank you very much for that question. It is not easy to be consistent with doing a particular thing, most especially memorization, which is recitation of the Quran, because you'll be battling with yourself at the same time you're battling with devil who is trying to stop you from doing that because he has promised to do that. He says, ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُم مِّن بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِن خَلْفِهِمْ وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ. So he has promised God that he shall come to you. He will definitely come to stop you from doing what is right, from before you, behind you, beside you, left and right, to see that good that will lead to eternal success, he has prevented you from it. So knowing this, Allah has given us a formula for success. And that formula is the last verse of Surah to Al Imran, verse 200, chapter 3. Allah said that, "O you who have believed, isbiru, you should have patience. Patience in whatever you are doing will give you a countless reward that you will be happy with." Then he said, "Ittaqullah, revere your Lord, isbiru, wasabiru, warabitu, wattaqullaha la'allakum tuflihun." You need to have patience, you need to persevere, you need to be consistent, you should have determination, and at the end of the day, you should remember that your effort will never yield you any result without relying upon God. And that is why he brought that one as the last thing. Wattaqullah, that you should revere Allah. Be conscious of Allah in whatever you are doing. So if you have your determination, you are patient with any affliction, harm that will come regarding that thing that you are doing, and you are persistent. There is this consistency in what you are doing. You are enduring such pains, the painstaking effort that you are doing in trying to acquire such thing. Then you now rely everything. You now go back. Your mind now to do that. Oh, the whole of this effort put in will never be fruitful except by your help, oh Allah. Then you are bringing God closer to your mind. That is the consciousness. You are bringing God closer to your mind. Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. Perchance, if all these affirmations are in place, you may be successful. So in order to stay consistency, you need prayer. You need prayer. Because you could wake up a day and your spirit does not feel like reciting a single word out of the fold of the Quran. Even a memorizer, it happens with them like that. But by the time you start with A'udhu, Bismillah, you recite 1, 2. Before you pick up the third verse, you will feel that sensation is absent. You will not feel it anymore. So that is to say that you need that mindset and consciousness that I have a goal, determination, and I want to achieve it. Then another thing that I would like to put is self-challenge. Self-challenge. You don't wait until maybe you are being posed with a life challenge before you say you want to do something. No. You could tell yourself that, oh, people know now that you are memorizer, you are memorizing the Quran. What happens if you just attend a function and unaware, they just say, Alarama or Ustaz this, come and give us opening recitation. Your mind will now blow. Yeah. You don't even know where to read. No. So if you know that this is forthcoming, you need to prepare for that day so that to prevent that public embarrassment. Then it will now become like a separate reproaching soul part of you that is combating the lazy part of you. So, and then there is also a dua that is you need to recite for to fight against any fatigue and laziness. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasl wal-bukhl wal-jubn wa dhala' ad-dain wa qahri ar-rijal. So this dua, if you are doing it consistently, is going to take away the spirit of laziness from someone. And then finally, in order to get what you want, there is only one magic, most especially when it comes to memorization: recursive iteration, a repetition. You need to set a timer. So we need, whatever you are doing, you should be able to go cover to cover. You take it from today, tomorrow you are going to the next one, next tomorrow you are going to the next one, day after, until you cover the Quran, because this Quran is numbered. The pages are numbered, the verses are numbered. So whatever you are doing, a journey of it. So if you do two verses today, tomorrow 2 verses, that is 4. And out of 6,000, you have removed 4. So it means you are going somewhere. So consistencies. If it is pages, you have 604 pages. You are doing five pages every day. You do 5 pages today. 5 pages is out of 600. You find out that at the end of the day, someone that is doing 10 pages every day, in 2 months, he finishes the recitation of the Quran. So in essence, repetition. وَتَرْدَادُهُ يَزْدَادُ فِيهِ تَجَمُّلًا. That is what Imam Shafi'i said in his poem. So that increase every day, reading it will make you to acquire it more. So there is no day that, oh, I've mastered this part, then you left it. If you leave it, it will leave you for more than 10 days. Prophet have encouraged you, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that ta'ahadu bil Quran, that you should strive, always strive in the course of reviewing the Quran. For walladhi nafsi biyadi, that he swore by he whose life is in his hand, that this Quran, ashaddu tafallutan, is more severe in escape than that she camel that is being tied or not, or tied to a particular pole or a tree. So the more you leave the Quran that, oh, let me rest. So just be rest assured that some of those concepts that you know before, you will be staggering. Next time you want to come and read, you now be saying, we're in, and you are looking at it, we're in no Greek. So you need to be reading it every time. Then Allah will give it to you, because man wajada wajad, where man jadda wajad, wherever strive shall have. So if you don't strive, don't expect it. Allah give to those who are striving. You cannot fold your arms and think that Quran will just fall into your brain. No. Even the Prophet said he was shackled to show him the importance of the Quran in the first place. And that is why he was shackled to the utmost shackling. Then he knew that the matter they are about to give him, he will not take it with laxative. So may Allah make it easy for us. So it is very good to stay determined. You should be persistent. You should have patience with whatever discomfort is going to cause you, because if you want to become something better, you need to become somebody. You can't remain in your comfort zone and expect yourself to be somebody better than who you were before. So determination, persistence, sabr, patient, then calling unto God. It is very key. Assalamu
Yeah.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Malam Idris, for that. I like to hear both of them or many of our teachers on the platform recite the Quran. So Malam Idris and Malam Sadiq, before we close out today, I would just like you to recite, so that perhaps some of our intending students are not wondering. I hope these Malams, hope they know how to recite the the Quran properly. So just some short verses that you want to just recite before we close out. Maybe you want to start first, Malam Sadiq, and Malam Idris can wrap things up with just a short recitation for us.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فكلي واشربي وقري عينا فإما ترين من البشر أحدا فقولي إني نذرت للرحمن صوما فلن أكلم اليوم إنسيا فأتت به قومها تحمله قالوا يا مريم لقد جئت شيئا فريا يا أخت هارون ما كان أبوك امرأ سوء وما كانت أمك بغيا. نعم، اللهم الحمد بالقرآن.
Amen. No. So it's over to you now, Malam Idris.
Barakallahu fi qira'atik. Wa zadaka
جزاكم
Allahu
الله
ilman.
أبي وإياكم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض ليجزي الذين أساءوا بما عملوا ويجزي الذين أحسنوا بالحسن الذين يجتنبون كبير الإثم والفواحش إلا اللمم إن ربك واسع المغفرة هو أعلم بكم إذ أنشاكم من الأرض وإذ أنتم أجنة في بطون أمهاتكم فلا تزكوا أنفسكم هو أعلم بمن اتقي أفرأيت الذي تولي وأعطي قليلا وأكدي أعنده علم الغيب فهو يري أم لم ينبأ بما في صحف موسى وإبراهيم الذي وفي ألا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وأن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعي وأن سعيه سوف يري ثم يجزيه الجزاء الأوفي. ما شاء الله.
No, Jazakallah khair, Malam Idris. All right, so you've listened. No. So you've listened to both Malam recite the Quran. I just didn't want them to leave without at least reciting some portion of the Quran for us. So again, we will most likely be doing this again, perhaps on Friday next week, on Saturday. So you can kindly help us spread the word. And for you, if you're interested in the free recitation classes, I mentioned I've dropped the link for us to register in the chat section. So kindly check that out and register right now. And just to quickly reiterate, we've mentioned if you're new, you can kindly indicate that you're new. So you're going to be starting with level 1. And if not, in the first or during the first live session, the malams would take your mock, and I would be able to appropriately place you, inshallah. So on that note, I don't know if there's any question from anyone else before we close out. Today is Jumu'ah, so we all want to make preparations for Jumu'ah, but just before we said we're going to spend 40 minutes on the call. So it's about 40 minutes right now, but let's see if we can take a question or two perhaps before we say bye-bye now, before we say assalamu alaikum. So any question from anyone? So again, follow us on socials, Islam as a Service. On that note, I say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.